All right, Coach, thank you very much. Here at Petco Park with the 23rd manager in Padres history, Mike Shildt. Mike, congratulations. Great to have you here. Great to hear what you and A.J. Preller had to say during the press conference. You know, I love your story from working in the clubhouse at AA, Cal Ripken Jr. in the clubhouse, getting all that experience in your childhood to coaching in high school, in college, managing in the minor leagues. Now all the different roles you've had in the major leagues. I think it's a story a lot of people can relate to, coming up through a system and getting to the major leagues. How does that experience shape you now as a manager?
Yeah, you know what? It's you look back and you go, man, it's been a long, wonderful journey that started when I was 8 years old, running down foul balls at Crockett Park in Charlotte, North Carolina, to now managing the San Diego Padres with a lot of different experience in between. And, you know, very blessed to have been able to accrue all those experiences. And, again, a lot of people have poured into me, and I was smart enough to listen to them and again, get a lot of experience. And like DJ alluded to, I've ridden a lot of buses. So all of it pays off to now, you know, have the opportunity to understand, to be able to be a competent, achieving manager at the big league level.
I've also been on a lot of buses in the Texas League like you, so I know those 10, 11-hour rides going Corpus Christi to Springfield. Don't remind me. A lot of fun, though, on those bus trips. You've done a lot of winning, whether it was in the minor leagues, certainly with the Cardinals, some tremendous seasons there. In your opinion, what are the traits of a winning team?
Well, it starts with everybody being together, pulling on the same rope. And, that's been something that I watched growing up with the Orioles. Back then it was the Oriole way. You know, I was there for 8 years in that AA clubhouse. They were the winningest organization. They're going to World Series. So I got a chance to see it, model it at a very young age without knowing what the heck I was really paying attention to. And then got around some really good people. And, it's always been, I've studied the game, and you just look and you look up and you don't know the outcome of the game is going to end up being.
Right.
So you want to have your I's dotted and T's crossed. And, ultimately one of the things I say to the group, it's pure competition, and we're going to give nothing away, and we're going to take everything that we see and get and be ready for those exposable moments. So it's just about playing fundamental baseball, and it's about showing up every day and competing. It is a competition. They're keeping score. Clearly baseball is a long, grinding process, and, the team that shows up every day and gets the most out of their ability and plays the game the right way usually has a pretty good standing at the end.
You talked in the press conference about allowing players to be themselves, and this is a team that has some star power on it, more than just a little bit of star power, a lot of personality on it as well. When you talk about Fernando Tatis Jr. and Juan Soto and Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts, the list goes on and on. As far as allowing players to be themselves, how do you view the group overall, this personality, at least right now?
I love the group. I love the personality.
Yeah.
I think it's great. Our fans enjoy it. We've got tremendous fans. It's a show. And the only thing I'm going to ask them to do, which I don't have any, they've already done and will continue to do, is just do it in a team setting.
Right.
It's have substance with the flash. Have the swagger. Bring it every day and play the game right and play the game fundamentally sound. But man, enjoy it. There's nothing really that I enjoyed in the last 2 years more than watching some of our guys play with just such enjoyment and passion for the game. And I know our fans appreciate that. And just do it in a manner that allows us to shake hands into the game.
Speaking of this team as a whole, it's a group this past season that it didn't appear to click it all together until the very end, until September. How will you try to ensure that this group clicks on all cylinders, gets things firing on all cylinders, really from March and April on?
Yeah, it's going to be a process.
Yeah.
It starts now. Starts with conversation with players. We, alluded to a question earlier. We're going to learn from this past year. Not going to live in it necessarily, but we are going to reflect on it, gather information from our players. And then just making sure that we're all doing it together. There's intentionality to everything we're doing, and I don't want to say that there wasn't intentionality. That's not the point at all. But really, just making sure there's a cohesiveness. I will say this about last year's club that I felt like was something that needed to be we need to manage moving forward, and that's the expectations. When you throw out there winning a World Series, and I've been fortunate enough to come from a place that's done that and modeled it and seen it and experienced it. It's different than when you're proclaiming to go do it and expecting to go do it than hunting it.
Sure.
And so I thought the group really just took a while for them to deal with those expectations that are very lofty, and that's normal. That's human.
Yeah.
And I thought it took the group a little bit of time to kind of settle into the groove of playing. So some of the talk internally will be about just playing the game right, playing the game in the moment, stay present, all the cliche things that just work, and manage your expectations. And again, if we can do it together in a setting that not everybody feels like they've got to carry the burden, because the thing I love about our group is, I got a lot of respect for them. This is a group that cared so much that they probably tried too hard in some cases.
We're joined by Mike Shildt right now on 97.3 The Fan from Petco Park. Mike Shildt introduced as the new Padres manager. Talking to people about you as this process went along and as you were announced as manager earlier this morning, a lot of people said to me, Mike Shildt is about fundamentals. He's big on fundamentals. How did you view this team in that aspect last season?
Actually, I thought we played pretty good defense.
Sure.
Our infield defense is really good. I mean, of course, Kimmy wins the utility gold glove. Toddy did a phenomenal job making the transition to right field, ultimately winning the platinum gold glove, and deservingly so. Grish is a tremendous defensive center fielder. I thought Croney did a great job making a transition, and playing first. And I thought Bogey played a very steady, sure shortstop. So I thought defensively we were pretty buttoned up. I thought we got better as the season went on the base running. It became a strength of the club. And, I thought, it's not like this is a group that's so far off. It's just, continuing to make sure that those attention to details are there and there's a feedback loop and a continual improvement mentality. And that really probably best describes my mentality about how teams work. You talk about getting started in April, March, and clearly you want to get off to a good start.
Right.
But really it's about taking advantage of being a better version. I say this a lot. Better as the game goes, better as the series goes, and better as the season goes. And if we're continually working to improve in all our areas individually, collectively, then, it's a pretty dynamic group.
I want to touch on one of the players you mentioned, Fernando Tatis Jr., and you're right. He did such a wonderful job transitioning to right field. He's obviously so important to this team moving forward for years and years to come. How do you view Fernando entering this season, coming off the missed year, coming off the surgeries from the past offseason, both as a player on the field and also inside the clubhouse?
I've been fortunate to get to know him. I helped him, very little bit in his rehab process.
Right.
I don't like to live in the past, I like to learn from it, but I will say this about Toddy that I think has been potentially overlooked. Let's give this guy a lot of credit for this last season.
Yeah, I'm with you.
This guy was on 17 months out of the game, 3 surgeries, a lot of off-the-field stuff hovering over his head, and this guy posted, answered the bell. I was privileged to see his habits be better. Took good care of himself. He played every game.
Yeah.
He transitioned to a new position to be the most elite defensive player in the National League, and his habits improved. And this guy really, and he took on a lot of the pressure and the heat that came from the previous, 17 months, and handled it far better than most 23-year-olds. Would have handled it, and I got a lot of admiration. I've told him that for how he's handled it. Now it's about what are the next steps. We talk about Proximo Paso, as the Spanish version of it. But and the next steps, this guy's now he's healthy. He has a full off season to recover, and I know he's going to have a very, very, very good year for us.
Yeah, it feels like he is primed for an MVP caliber season. Again, We're joined by Mike Shildt as we introduce Mike Shildt here on 97.3 The Fan, the brand new Padres manager. Final question for you. You had the opportunity to manage in St. Louis. Great fans there, as we know. The fans here in San Diego, they're pretty darn good, too. The sellouts night after night, what they do here at Petco Park, the energy they continue to bring night after night. What is your message today to Padres fans?
It is an amazing atmosphere. It's a beautiful ballpark. It's a fun atmosphere. It's a party. Clearly last year was a disappointment relative to not making the playoffs, but this is an entertaining team. It'll remain an entertaining team with an eye towards being and rewarding their enthusiasm with the playoffs. It's a loud stadium.
Right.
They get after it. They party. They have a good time. Our players enjoy it. And, the biggest thing is just continue to ride the journey with us on our journey to this World Series championship. But like I said, we talk about World Series, but let's don't get so far ahead. Let's take care of our division. Let's start playing better and compete in our division first.
You talk about it being a party Friday night, City Connect uniforms. I'm looking forward to seeing you in those City Connect colors.
Yeah, those are my colors.
Yeah, we've seen it, but I want to see it top step.
Yeah,
it's
you're
going to be a
see
lot of fun.
Yeah, it's definitely my jam.
All right, Mike, appreciate the time. Congratulations again. Really look forward to seeing you at spring training and throughout the course of the 2024 season. Happy Thanksgiving, and thanks so much.
Thanks. Happy and blessed Thanksgiving.
All right, Mike Shildt joining us.